All right, Shalom, Shalom, Israel. This is Brother Azariah from WFI, Jersey, Philly. Coming back with another video. Slakia. Giving all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh, which the world calls God, and Yahweh Shai, which the world calls Jesus Christ. Shalom, Shalom. All right, Lord willing, you brothers and sisters, you waxing mightier and mightier in your faith. And if it be in the will of the Lord, all right, you're also increasing in your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding these last days. Salaki. All right. So the topic of this video is multiple wives. All right. You got some people they like it, some people they don't like it, and more than often it's Eve that doesn't like it, and it's for obvious reasons. All right. We still in these curses. Deuteronomy 28:54 is not only talking about Jake gang banging and shooting each other and robbing one another and sleeping with one another, one another's wives. That's not all it's talking about. It's also going into Eve hating one another. All right, Eve will fight their sister because they just found out. Oh, you was texting my nigga. They said, I thought you was my friend, girl. You was texting my nigga last night, talking about let's link. And then they want to fight, man. I remember in high school that used to happen. You had Eves always fighting, and Eve, they're not fighting for anything sensible. They're not fighting for any good reason. They're not fighting for a good cause. They're always fighting over a Jake. All right, and it'll be like 6 o'clock in the morning. All right, in these TV shows you watch, they a lot of times a school bully will say, hey, meet me such and such after school at 3 o'clock. Eve, they're so hell-bound on fighting one of their sisters over a Jake, and they say, you know what? Hey, in the morning, and we gonna fight one another. As soon as we get off the bus at 6:30 in the morning, we gonna fight one another. Why? Because they don't want no other Eve sleeping with their man or being affectionate with their man. Because they don't understand the concept of coming together as a unit and being a household. They don't understand that. Why? Because they've been westernized. In this society, they say, well, nah, you really shouldn't have multiple wives. They look down on it. But now that we're in the truth, we look at the scriptures, all right? And that determines what's right and what's wrong. Now, the scripture says a man can have multiple wives. Whether you like it, love it, hate it, despise it, it is what it is. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy 21 and verse 15. It says, if a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, then it shall be when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he hath, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. So here we see that it says, if a man have two wives. So that's a thing, having two wives. But the only thing is, when you have two wives, you have to treat them both equally. All right? It's the same concept as having two children. You don't want to love one over the other, because once you love one over the other may despise the other one, and then the curses might kick in. All right, you may have a situation where one son was beloved more than the other, then they grow up, and then this son, he may inherit 40 acres. He may have inherited $10,000. And then the other son that wasn't really treated that well, he only inherited $5,000. Now he may say, well, that's unequal, that's unjust. All right, then he may blow his brother's head off and take that money from him. Then in total, he come out with $15,000 because he murdered his brother and took his money. So you're not supposed to hate one of your wives and then love the other one. All right, that's all that's going into. But let's go to some more precepts. Let's go to the book of Genesis 32 and I believe verse 20. All right. Slakia. This is the book of Genesis. Always didn't forget this one. It's the book of Genesis 32 and verse 20. It says, and say ye moreover, behold, thy servant Jacob is behind this. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goeth before me, and afterward I will see his face. Peradventure he will accept me. So what's going on is, all right, you have Jacob. Now, Jacob, he kind of so-called wronged Esau in the past. It was set up by the Most High to happen like that, so that we can get the promises. But now he's about to meet Esau for the first time. So he's setting up an order on how he wants certain things presented to Esau. All right. And then after those things, those presents are given to Esau, then he'll show his face after. All right. So continuing on, it says, verse 21. So went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company. And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants and his 11 sons and passed over the ford Jabbok. So we understand Jacob, he had 2 wives. All right. So you see, I don't get where brothers say it's unlawful to have 2 wives. Well, if that's the case, why did Jacob have 2 wives? Now, Jacob is the progenitor of the 12 tribes. So if he was going off, then that means us being here, it was done unlawfully. And we really should be a wicked generation if that's the case. All right, because we were born unjustly. All right, we were born against the law. The Lord probably would have put us to death. Remember, King David, he laid down with his brother's wife and had a baby. And what did the Lord do? The Lord smote the child. Why? Because the child came forth unjustly. The child was sprung forth through the breaking of the law. So to make an example, he destroyed that child, man. All right. And as sad as David may have been, it is what it is. You broke the law. You got to deal with that. All right. The wages of sin is death. David didn't die because he had the sure mercies of David. But hey, his son got taken away. So the same thing would have happened to us. But that's not the case. This was done in righteousness. First and foremost, a lot of you Eves and brothers, because there's brothers that, I'm going to use that word simp. They simp for women. All right. And then you got the woman that's simping for the men that's simping for them. So it's a lot of simping going on. Now you got brothers, they'll say, sister, you don't got to listen to that. I seen one time on Facebook, brothers was talking to one woman about multiple wives. And a brother came in, like Superman, kind of swooped in the comments. He said, sister, and you don't got to listen to that. They're wicked. No, brother, you wicked. Because the scriptures definitely says you can have multiple wives. Now, if Jacob wasn't to have multiple wives, the brother that was speaking on the behalf of that sister and the sister that was debating the brothers that were coming out of scriptures that were trying to inform her that it was lawful to have multiple wives, you wouldn't be here if Jacob didn't have his 2 wives. There would be no arguing. There would be no debating. Why? Because you wouldn't have been here from the jump. Whatever tribe you came from, that tribe may have not been here due to him not having multiple wives. So you better be grateful that Jacob had multiple wives, man. But a lot of y'all, again, the curses still apply. So a lot of y'all, you're carnally minded. All right? You're carnal. You still feel as if, okay, well, this is my man. Y'all still got that spirit where this is my man. That's an off spirit. No, you belong to him. The Lord literally said, let me grab this. All right? Because it seems as if a lot of you forgot the precepts. It's the book of Sirach 36 and verse 24. It says, he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession. What is a possession? A possession is something you own. It belongs to you. My possession can't wake up and say, well, you belong to me, master. That's contradicting in itself. You're the possession and you call me master. You call me master, but you say, I kind of belong to you. That doesn't even make any damn sense. The woman was made for the man. That's the scriptures, not the man for the woman. So what the hell are you talking about? A man doesn't belong to you. You belong to a man. Let me read this one more time. This is the book of Sirach 36 and 24. It says, he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. So that's what a woman is, a possession. Now, you're not a possession where, say this is my wife. I kind of just throw my wife around and, it belongs to me. I could do what I want. A lot of times some people, they come in their house, they just kind of kick off their shoes and throw it all over the place. They don't really put it in its right spot. That's not how you're supposed to treat your woman. Of course, that's obvious. All right. That's being a lion in your house. You can't be doing it. You gotta kind of treat your wife like you'll treat your Bible. Right? I hope you brothers will treat your Bibles right. You're not kind of just throwing it around, leaving it outside in the rain. I hope you're not doing it. You should cherish your damn Bible, man. Wherever you go, and your Bible goes. All right? And you're not going to rip pages out your Bible. Hey, there's times where I've accidentally ripped pages and it kind of cut my spirit, man. Like, damn. Hey, so you're supposed to treat your wife the same way. When you hurt her, you should feel some type of way about it. All right? And go to her and talk about it later on. But nonetheless, she still is your possession. At the end of the day. All right? So that spirit, y'all got to get that spirit off you, man. Let's get another precept. Let's go to Genesis 25 and verse 1. Now, this is the beginning. All right? If it wasn't for the beginning, I'm trying to tell you, you couldn't be here. All right? So this is the book of Genesis 25 and verse 1. Then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah. So you see, he took another wife. All right? He already had a wife. Let's go to Genesis 11 and 29. All right. This is the book of Genesis 11 and verse 29. It says, and Abraham and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abraham's wife was Sarah, and the name of Nahor's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. So we see in Genesis, the 11th chapter, he already has Sarah as a wife. Then going back to Genesis 25 and 1, it says, then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah. So you see, again, he has another wife. All right, these are 3 precepts I just went to showing you that it's lawful to have multiple wives. Let's get one more. It's like it kind of slipped my mind. Okay, 2 Samuel. All right. It's the book of 2 Samuel 5 and verse 13. It says, and David took him more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem after he was come from Hebron, and there were yet sons and daughters born to David. Now, a lot of you women will say, y'all try to debate that and say, well, he had a lust demon. Don't you see what he did to his brother? He kind of slept with his brother's wife, and look at him. His son got put to death. That was wicked. All right? Having no understanding of the precepts. Remember, David, he was a man after the Most High's heart. Let's go to that Acts 13 and 21. All right? This is the book of Acts 13, and I'm going to start at verse 21. It says, and afterward they desired a king, and God gave unto them Saul the son of Cis, a man of the tribe of Benjamin, by the space of 40 years. And when he had removed him, he raised up unto them David to be their king, to whom also he gave testimony and said, I have found David the son of Jesse, a man after mine own heart, which shall fulfill all my will. So we see David, he was a man after the Most High's heart. Now, again, you may try to argue, well, he wasn't a man after the Most High's heart when he slept with his brother's wife. Well, guess what? He was punished for that. Anything that he did that was off, although he had the mercy of David, he still was punished for it in a certain way. Judgment still has to go forth. No one is exempt from the law. All right? There's no card you can wave up to the Most High and say, hey, I can't be punished. I'm not punishable for my sins. No one has that card. So he was still punished for things that he went off. When he went off, he was punished for it. As we seen, when he slept with his brother's wife and had a child, his child was put to death. All right? Your own seed, something that came from you, your offspring, he was put to death. All right? And your offspring is not something you just don't care about. You can just buy it at the store for 50% off at any time. No, this is something that is cherished. It came directly from you. It's a piece of you. And the Lord stripped him of that because he sinned. Now, if it was off for David to have multiple wives, then he would have been judged for that as well. Now, you can't show me any precept showing me that he was judged for that. Showing you that having multiple wives is lawful. All right? Now, that's plain upon tables. Now, I'm going to grab one more precept. Now that that's cleared up, it is lawful to have multiple wives. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 12. This is the book of 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 12. It says, all things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. So it's lawful to have multiple wives, but brother, is it expedient for you though? You see, everybody has a lot. Everyone's lot is not the same. All right? You know, you want to be like King David, but is it your lot to be King David or be like King David? It may not be your lot. It may not be a lot to be like Jacob. Jacob had multiple wives. All right? There's many brothers in the scripture that have multiple wives. There's brothers in this truth right now that have multiple wives. All right? You know, some of their relationships are faring out well, and some of their relationships are in damn turmoil, man. All right? It's in the dirt. So you see, through the precepts, it is lawful. Yeah, you can get another wife. What is it? Expedient. That's just like you have two men. One man, he's allergic to peanuts. All right? He's allergic to peanuts, and the next man, he can eat peanuts. He's not allergic to it. Now, it's lawful to eat peanuts. That's lawful. That's not breaking the law to eat peanuts. But the brother that's allergic to it, he would be foolish to take the peanut and eat it. Why? Because he might get boils on his flesh. He might choke and die. Or he literally might give up the ghost because he ate that peanut. The law is lawful for him to eat the peanut, but, you know, it wasn't expedient because now he's dead. He may have choked on it. Now he got boils on his skin. It's burning. He got a temperature. His eye all swollen. He feel like he can't breathe. All right? These things happen when certain men get multiple wives as well. All right? Your house goes in shambles. All right? You know, you had a nice little relationship. Then you brought another woman in, all right? And then it kind of went in shambles. Why? Because it's not for everyone. And you have some brothers, they get multiple wives, and it kind of works out. It works out for them. But this is not every man's lot. So every brother that's in the truth, you shouldn't be running and chasing and ripping your shirt off. I want another wife. Brother, it may not be for you, man. It's not for everybody. Everybody can't handle two women. There's brothers in this thing that have a wife already and they can't even handle their own wife. All right? You have one wife already. You can't even handle her. All right, she kind of out of order, disrespectful. She dissing you in front of your brothers. Every feast day, you know, you tell her to cook. And she, I'm not cooking. She fold her hands. I ain't cooking nothing, nigga. You got brothers that got ribs like that, and they say, well, I'm going to go and get another wife. Now, they may say, well, brother, you know, this rib, she's wicked as hell. You know, I can't deal with her. You know, I need to bring another wife in, and, you know, I got to get another wife. She has to make up for the bad that she's bringing in. Well, brother, that's not going to get any better. If she's acting, or she's already acting out like that, what do you think's going to happen when this other woman comes in the house? She might fight this woman. She might brawl with this woman. She might try to set this woman up to make her look bad. All right? A lot of things can happen. So you got to know what's expedient, man. Let me go to the book of Sirach 37. I'm going to start at verse 26. All right? This is the book of Sirach 37 and verse 26. A wise man shall inherit glory among his people, and his name shall be perpetual. Slacky. It says, a wise man shall inherit glory among his people, and his name shall be perpetual. My son, prove thy soul in thy life. What does that mean? That means to examine yourself and see what's good for you and what's not good for you. He said to prove thy soul in thy life and see what is evil for it and give not that unto it. So you got to know what's good for you, and what's good for you, you give it to yourself. what's not good for you, you don't really deal with. If you have a lust demon, that's not an excuse to go and get another wife. You don't just, I got a lust demon, let me give me another wife. That lust demon, that's a powerful demon. You know, a lot of brothers have that demon. And you may say, well, I got my rib, and then you kind of looking at your rib's mother, kind of rubbing your hands, you going like this. You say, oh, she's single, her husband died. Let me try to go in into her. That's going off. Because although, again, earlier, you can have multiple wives, but you can't wife every type of woman neither. All right? Don't let them demons devour you and make you do something stupid. All right, let's go to Leviticus, the 18th chapter. We're going to start at verse 9. All right? This is the book of Leviticus 18 and verse 9. All right? And it reads, it says, the nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. So you can't lay down with your father's wife. All right? That's going to be my second woman right there. That's going off. Verse 9. The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, or daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. So you can't lay down with your sister. You got some weird, creepy Edomites. They literally sleep with their sisters, man. You got Edomites, they marry their mother. All right, that's off. That's not a spirit you really want to move in. Because the Lord, He's going to cut you down. No laying down with your mother. No laying down with your sisters in the truth. All right. Verse 10. The nakedness of thy son's daughter, or the nakedness, or thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness, thou shalt not uncover, for theirs is thine own nakedness. All right. So I want to skip. The rest is really plain upon tables. You can check that out on yourself. But I really want to get verse 18. It says, neither shalt thou take a wife to her sister, to vex her, to uncover her nakedness beside the other in her lifetime. So even when you're searching for another rib, you can't marry your rib sister. You can't do that. All right, and then on top of that, you also, because all the sisters are sisters, whether they're biological sisters or sisters in the sisterhood, or whatever the case may be. Now, I'm speaking on the behalf of the sisterhood part. All right? Y'all don't have the same mother, father. You're not even related. Y'all just Israelite sisters in the truth. You can't, as a man, you can't marry this woman and then marry another woman, right? And then you just want to marry her so that you can have, what is it called? A threesome. All right? That's what that's going into, too. Two sisters can't uncover their nakedness. That's going off. Are you sitting back, kind of roll it, go like this, then you kind of look boom, boom, and then you start a sexual act, man. All right, with both of them at the same time. You can't do that. Again, that's still dealing with the lust demon, because you got brothers, they'll get multiple wives just so they can have a threesome. That's a porno spirit. If that's the case, if that's why you're trying to get another rib, then brother, just go back into the world. And then if that's the profession you're trying to seek, and you can go ahead and do so, but the Lord, He gonna catch up with you, man. Them sins gonna catch up with you. That's off as hell. All right, that's literally a pornography spirit. You got brothers that watch pornography, and the things that's on pornography, they want to make it something that's a part of their life. So then they say, well, I want another rib. That's not for you. Let me get this one more time. This is the book of Sirach 37, and I'm going to read verse 27. It says, my son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. So if you got that lust demon, I would recommend you not go and try to get another rib, because that demon may overwhelm you and make you do something stupid. All right? It says, for all things are not profitable for all men, neither hath every soul pleasure in everything. So everything's not profitable unto every man. Every brother can't do certain things. Just like construction. Construction is a laborious job. It's hard. All right? It's hardcore labor. Now, every brother can't do that. You notice every brother's not doing construction. Because some brothers, they got a preference. They prefer to do construction. And then some brothers, they not really trying to do that. All right? You know, they might be up there trying to knock some nails into the roof. And then the nail, they damn put the nail in their finger. All right? If you're a clumsy brother, I wouldn't recommend you to do construction. All right? You might die out there. Now, you can do it. You could train for it. It's not breaking the law to do construction. But if you go out there and do it and you're a clumsy brother, you may die out there. You may not make it home. All right? Vice versa with even, what is that called? Landscaping. You notice most, the tribe that really does landscaping the most is Issachar and Northern Kingdom. All right? A lot of Southern Kingdom are not really doing landscaping. I haven't seen that on my parts where I stay. Now, Issachar, that's kind of their thing. They like to do hard labor. That's prophecy. Now, a brother like myself, it may not really be expedient for me to go out there. I may go out there and work for 3 days and say, well, you know, the pay is kind of good. And then after that first paycheck, I kind of get lazy. I start showing up to work late. I start calling out. What does that tell me? That tells me that wasn't expedient for me. That really wasn't for me. Just like Slacky Israel. Just like when it comes to having multiple wives, it's just not for everyone. All right? Let me finish it off. Verse 29, it says, be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats. What does that mean to be unsatiable? Meaning, you're not satisfied. All right? You don't want to be a brother where you're you don't want to be a brother where you're unsatisfied. You say, well, one wife, that's not enough. I need 7. And you can't even handle it. And then you get to 7, you still not satisfied. That doesn't make any damn sense. Now you just being greedy, man. All right? And now obviously you got a lust demon. Now you just kind of doing this thing just because. All right? You know? And you even got brothers, they get multiple wives to gloat. You got brothers, they get multiple wives and they kind of come around. They go like this. Say, brother, don't you see my 2 wives? How many wives you got? And the brother say, I don't really got no wife right now. I, kind of out here by myself serving the Lord. He may laugh, make jokes, act as if he's better than you. Just because you have another wife, that doesn't make you better than the next man neither. All right, you can't be doing it. All right, that's not wise as well. All right, but let me read this one more time. This is the book of Sirach 37 and verse 29. Be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats. For excess of meats bringeth sickness, and surfeiting will turn into choler. By surfeiting have many perished, but he that taketh heed prolongeth his life. So a lot of people have surfeited, meaning their flesh is greedy, is hungry. They need more wives. You got some brothers, they just need more wives. They don't really got a reason to. They just doing it just because it look cool. All right, their friends may clap and say, "Yo, you doing a good thing right there, man. You're lucky." All right, they want to hear men's approval. You got some people, they surfeit for these certain things, and they'll go and do things that's not profitable for them. Then they end up being destroyed. Now you may have 7 wives, and they may all be wicked. All of them may be wicked because you may have got these ribs and with a wicked intent. All right, you didn't do it because you want to help this sister grow. Then also on top of that, you want to help this sister to help that sister grow. They become a sisterhood. You build up a house. All right, you establish something. You're kingdom building. All right. If you're doing it for that reason, all praise to the Most High. But if you're doing it for vainglory and vanity and to be seen of men, all right, and for lust purposes, because you want to sleep with multiple women in the bed and have sex with all 7 of them at the same time, and having them rub on you and call you different names, that's going to hell off. You might be destroyed. All right? That sin may devour you, and then you may go back into the world. You really might go back into the world, man. Like he said, let me read that last verse one more time. All right? It's the book of Sirach 37 and verse 30. For excess of meats bringeth sickness, and surfeiting will turn into choler. And it says, for excess of meats bringeth sickness. You know, you being a brother trying to get another wife, you also got to be wise. All right, you don't just lay down with any woman. All right, you kind of, you talk to her for a week. You say, that's enough. Now it's time. You kind of say, now it's time. And you go lay down with this woman. And this woman, hey, she may have wicked intents. You gotta prove these women too. Just because these women have head wraps on and fringes on, that don't mean they righteous. She may have a sickness that she's not telling you about. And then you being greedy and surfeiting, you just say, I don't give a damn. I trust this woman. You lay down with her, you do your thing, and then next thing you know, the next morning you kind of feeling certain things by your private member, man. You never felt that before. And it's because of this woman. All right? And then you kind of spreading that thing. And then you find out later on what it actually is. Because the first day you woke up, you probably say, that's nothing. And then you go get another woman, and then you give that to that woman. There's a lot of things that goes on with having multiple wives. That's why you have to be a brother. You have to have discernment. You got to be wise. You have to be well ordered, well instructed. All right. You don't just run after things because it looks good. All right. Your eyes. They say a lot of time your eyes is bigger than your stomach, man. Your stomach can eat. It can fill up. You kind of put a couple things in there, but your eyes can look upon so many things. And it can look on all these things and want all of it, but yet your belly can't take it. Don't let your eyes deceive you, man. Let me get this in Sirach 31 and 13. This is the book of Sirach 31 and verse 13. Remember that a wicked eye is an evil thing, and what is created more wicked than the eye? Therefore it weepeth upon every occasion. So your eye, it weepeth on every occasion. It's looking at different things at the same time. All right? Your mind can only process so much, but your eyes can look upon more things than your brain can process, which is ultimately your belly. All right? So you brothers, be wise. All right? Yes, it is lawful to have another wife. It is. All right? Some brothers, it's going to be their lot to have multiple wives, and some brothers, it's not going to be your lot. All right? You have to examine yourself. Let me go to 2 Corinthians 13 and verse 5. All right. So this is the book of 2 Corinthians 13 and verse 5. So I give me first. All right. This is the book of 2 Corinthians 13 and verse 5. Examine yourselves, whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahushua HaMashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. So you have to prove yourself, and you ultimately know yourself. You should know after a lot of meditating. All right, am I ready for another wife? Am I in good stances to have another wife? Is my first relationship where I want it to be? Because you want your first relationship, whoever your first rib is, you want her relationship to be on a high level, whereas the arguments aren't bad. They're not often. You treat each other with respect. You treat one another how you want to be treated. You love one another equally. There's a lot of things that go into this. You want to make sure you are where you're supposed to be at spiritually and physically as a man. You want to make sure your first rib is where she's supposed to be at physically and spiritually as a woman. All right, and then after that, then you move on to the next woman. All right, you want to bring positive energies to this next relationship. You don't want to have a bad relationship and have a bad energy within your first relationship, and then you go and lay down with this other woman, and then you bring her a part of these bad vibes. She was probably better off by herself. If that was the case, all right, she could have stayed alone, and she could have continued to serve the Lord. Because Paul told you that when you're by yourself, you only got to focus on the things that please the Lord. Let's go to that 1 Corinthians 7. I'm going to start at verse 32. All right, this is the book of 1 Corinthians 7 and 32. I'll start at verse 34. It says, "There's a difference also between a wife and a virgin. The unmarried woman careth for things of the Lord, that she may be holy both in body and in spirit. But she that is married careth for the things of the world, how she may please her husband." So that's obvious. You know, a married woman, she has to please her husband, and she has to worry about more carnal things. If y'all looking for an apartment, more than likely your rib would be the one looking for it. That's Proverbs 31. All right. She looketh upon a field, she consider it, and she buys it. All right. So, you know, you worrying about more carnal things when you're married. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, the Lord said, you know, being married, or Paul even said in Hebrews 13 and 4, he said, marriage is an honorable thing. All right, that's a good thing. But when you're married, as I said before, I gave the example, don't have a bad marriage and then bring another woman in that was once upon a time single. She only had to focus on serving the Lord. She was finally in the space that she wanted to be in. She may have just got her own apartment. You know, she probably just moved out from her parents' house. She got away from demons that were at her old house. She may have escaped old demons that she once suffered with. And then now you brought her into this relationship where she has to go through all these things all over again. And, you know, those old demons come back because now demons, they feed off one another. All right? You don't want to do that. So you got to be wise. You got to know what's going on. All right? Pray to the Lord. Ask the Most High to guide you. All right? You know, and that's all I got on that. So, Lord willing, this was edifying to at least one brother or even to one sister. I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh, which the world calls God, and Yahweh Shai, which the world calls Jesus Christ, and Kwam Yashala.